out here smoking this CBD weed, and I recently got into this for the first time, and man, this feels so good. It's not harsh at all. It is so light, and it feels really open in a very gentle way. I really love this. I feel like this should be available everywhere in the world very easily. This would help a lot of people out. It's just a little calm. Just a little. It takes this like, to like, yeah. Goes from like a super, very like anxious, stimulated to like, yeah, it's okay. Not in like a super good feeling way, like, yeah, oh my god. Like, no, it just feels better. It doesn't feel bad. I've been thinking about so many things. I've been thinking about how for a very long time, it's almost like I've been compensating for a certain thing in my life. Compensating for having skipped almost like a phase or a stage in my maturation process. It's like I forced myself, and I was forced by my situation to really get serious. That's how I would put it. Like, I was kind of more relaxing, more just wanted to go in my own direction at a very young age, like maybe grade 8 or 9, 15, 16 years old. 14 even, and I've been forced to not go that direction. I've been forced very stressfully to follow a direction that is not my own, and I forgot about it. I forgot that that was not my direction, and I got very serious into it, into what I was forced into, just continuing school, doing certain things, and I eventually invested that into gaming. I mixed the two. I mixed what I was naturally trying to go towards, which is this like curious freedom exploration phase, and very contemplative and very what is the word? Like very inner, very intellectual almost, just studying and learning. And I went from that to wanting to not be forced into school, because it felt very linear and dead-ended and very inefficient at what it was doing. And so I ended up combining that I was really serious about trying to do school because that was the only way out of anything. And then also also doing the freedom exploration thing. But at a certain point, when it got really serious, when I was getting professional and I was being flown to play with Team Liquid and all this stuff, coach Team Liquid, it got too serious, and I was getting to the place when I was getting challenger as well. I was getting to the very top of the rankings in this game. It started to make me very much like, oh man, like I just couldn't do it. I was getting too serious. It was getting too like serious in a way I don't want to be. Like, it was very stressful. It was very crazy. And that energy was so caught up in me. It was creating this very incredible level of dissonance. My whole experience, because I was like, I didn't want to be serious, but I was forcing myself into it. Plus, it was all I was doing. And so after that phase of all this forcing and seriousness, when I didn't want to do it by myself, I just wanted to explore, be relaxed. I kind of forced myself to, like, I unconsciously started compensating for that, feeling too spent, feeling too drained. Like, there's no way I can keep doing that, keep trying to be serious, keep trying to push against something when I didn't want to do it at all. And so I just withdrew. I forced my situation into this, like, into that thing, into being relaxed, being not serious, kind of like just relaxing and exploring. It's like you're in a forest, and instead of going from A to B, like, you want to go from someone's house to someone else's house, or you want to go back to home, you just keep walking in the forest and, like, looking around and just, like, seeing what's up. And I needed that, but like the feeling inside was that was necessary. So when I was forced out of it, it felt like that shouldn't happen like that. And then I compensate for it by just not being able to do anything. It's not like a conscious process that I'm compensating for all this missing years. It's a little conscious because I was aware that I needed a break. I was too tired. I needed a break. This was not, I don't want to do anything. And I think about all the people who feel things like this but have no way out. We don't give them any, the whole situation of society and culture. There's no room for such a person to get a break, to not be stuck in some situation they don't want to be in, and completely being at the mercy of the condition that they're in. Not being able to relax enough or have enough fun or friendship or attention or whatever it is that we're missing leads to people unconsciously forcing a kind of compensation in their lifestyle and then creating complete chaos. Drug addiction, weird sexual practice, weird social circles, and going out with people that probably don't want the best for us, and eventually ending up in very bad situations, like being in jail because you just don't want to work, just want to sit and do heroin, or just want to go to the club and be naked, or just want to fight to prove that we're not some little bitch, something like this. And then this feeling starts to become the dominant thing in our life. We're compensating for what we didn't get to live through. And then when we go to jail or get into the supposed to be somehow corrective part of our social system, that's over. Because now you're labeled, now there's a formal public history to what you've been through. People get weird, and yeah, there's no space anymore. And I totally see how that could be anybody. Anybody. Not just me or you or the people who ended up in that already, but anybody. And when we say anybody in this way, what I'm really saying is that we need to leave more room maybe for people to find ways to compensate for the life that they didn't get to live. Instead of forcing people forward and having this barely functional, somehow supposed to be corrective system that we socially depend on to fix our problems, but instead just makes everything so much worse. Because now instead of this person getting to not be forced into the thing and compensate for what they didn't live, and eventually now, for me personally, maybe it doesn't get to happen to everybody, for me personally now, I did it. I compensated, I feel like I did it. I'm lucky enough to have had enough time, maybe a few years of just completely, not completely at all, very stressfully, very inefficient and struggle type of feeling, but I forced it and got through. Feels almost like a Joey Diaz-ish type feeling of someone doing it enough to the point where they're just like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. This is horrible. I don't know why I'm even doing it. I don't know why I'm not taking my life seriously. And then I realize I'm not taking anything seriously because I can't. I took it too seriously before. I burnt out. And I needed to just stop. I needed to find a way to not just be stuck doing that. And I forced it, and I could have died, or I could have ended up in jail or in real trouble. And I kind of did get in trouble in my life, but not in a public way at all. Just family stuff. And so that doesn't affect my life in a irreparable type of way, the way that if I went to jail for something would. And I just wonder if there's a way we could do that in our society, for ourselves too, to allow a certain kind of compensation like this. Even if it takes very long. It might take 20 years. It might take forever. But the thing is, when we try to force it, we become so toxic. We become so unhappy. we don't want to be doing it like this. And so it becomes like, we think we're doing it for society, like to go work or not do drugs or just be sexually weird or something like that. But if we really feel like we need to do that, there's something very broken about being forced into a completely different direction. That really is an explosively bad collective approach to this whole thing. And so it feels like there is a way we need to open that up somehow. And instead of spending so much on punishing people, I would say instead of defund the police, defund the whole legal system and create, instead of a punishing system, a care system. When people have problems, instead of us punishing them, we care about them. Like, like, not just send them to therapy and have some person talk to them, but actually care about them, like collectively. Like, instead of shut them down and give them a weird label, like, just, yeah, talk to them or give them some financial freedom to go do something weird, and just leave them alone and understand. Have education. That's the biggest thing for all these things, is education. Is how do we all, if we all see, like, just like now, most people see that alcoholism is a disease, kind of, and so, or like not a self-intended thing completely, and so people just kind of like understand and they help people that are alcoholic. But we're not like that with all these other things. And even with people that are alcoholic, we're still not that. We're still not that, like, not that nice in any way. We're just kind of, we don't punish them, but we're definitely not caring. I don't know if we even know what caring means. What caring looks like. We know what punishing looks like. We are very good at that. But caring is, it looks like asking questions. That's a big part of it. Or giving space. Just give space. If someone's being weird, what's ask questions like, why are you doing this? And if they don't want to talk to them, just some space or something. Instead of like, oh, this person is being weird, put them in jail. Like, fuck. Like, that's gonna help anything. I think we don't ask enough questions. Why is this happening like this? Is there a reason for that? Why is my dad so fucking crazy? Is he just crazy? Oh, his genetics are just like that. Oh. But why? Why is it all like this? We need to ask more questions. That will be a great way to really care. Or a start.